G'day everyone and welcome to Retrospectreviews, and in this episode I thought I'd have a look at another magazine that I picked up recently, and as you can see it's Amiga World. Originally it sold for $7.95, and this one intrigued me because in the back in the day when I was right into the Amiga, used it every day. I used to be a huge animator fan, and I was always looking for software and to try to make animation. So when I saw this magazine with Donald Duck on the front, it got me quite intrigued to see what the article was about and what else was in the magazine. So starting off, the front cover here, as you can see, it's talking about animation Walt Disney Goes Amiga, 3 essential tips for better animation, finished with a flourish, 12 top utilities. So let's open up and have a look what's on the first page. Most likely advertisement, and pretty much how does new ProWrite 3.0 differ from the other Amiga word processors? I can't really recall if I actually ever used ProWrite. I think I used to just use the basic word processor that came with Amiga on their utility disc that you got with every Amiga. So on this page, this page here, I think this is more advertisement. Gold Disk Office, the only productive software you'll ever need. I think this is a bit like it's got spreadsheets and so forth. So yeah, it's like Office for Amiga, I think. Okay. To discover new creation options with Gold Disk Type. Okay, let's turn over. What do we got here? We've got the Amiga Max 2. Is it Amiga 4000, I think? Just trying to see if there's anything written here. Oh no, it's the Amiga 2000. I never owned one of these Amigas. I used to go to a store in the heart of Sydney on Pitt Street, and they used to have, I think they had the Amiga 2000, Amiga 4000, and I want to say 3000, but I don't know if there was an Amiga 3000. But they had them in a row, and they'd have demos playing in the background and shareware games, and usually the guy was pretty good there. If you took in some blank discs, he'd let you copy the demos. So that's probably the only experience I ever had with the Amiga 2000. So we've got the contents here. I should say too, this is volume 6, number 9, September 1990. Of Amiga World. I never used to buy this magazine. I only used to buy like Amiga format, and because I was right into games and that. But I'm sure if I saw this magazine back in 1990, I probably would have picked it up. But back then, I didn't really buy a lot of magazines for software, mainstream software. It was mainly just the game stuff. So we've got the contents here. I'm just seeing what games they've got a review on 668 Attack Sub. I think I do have that on IBM. I picked up not long ago, unboxed unfortunately. I think I got it loose. It might have been a later release because it's on CD. Future Wars. I used to own Future Wars when I had it in box back in the day. Leisure Suit Larry 3. I do have a Leisure Suit Larry 3. Don't have the individual game. Never did own those because back in the day everyone had pirated stuff, which is not kosher these days. But to have completed that, me and a friend, we spent a whole weekend, I think, and we did the whole Leisure Suit Larry 3. We completed 1, 2, and 3. And I don't think 4... No, because they skipped 4, so they went straight to 5. So I never completed 5 upwards of the Leisure Suit Larrys. Anyhow, let's get off the table of contents. Moving on, what we got here? Just about the publishers and the writers. More advertisement. So an upgrade kit for Impact A3001 upgrade kit. I think, what is that for? Up to 8GB of RAM. So yeah, I think it's just to upgrade your Amiga. I think Amiga 2000 or Amiga 5000. Factory installed 68030 CPU. Yeah. So like I said before, I never really had much to do with these. My main Amiga was the Amiga 5000. 500, not 5000. Okay, next page. Headlines. Multiplayer expanded. Amigas on the apps. There's just some things here. What's these top 3? So top 3. Number 1, DigiPaint 3, Deluxe Paint 3. I used to have Deluxe Paint 3, DVDO 3. Top selling productive software, second quarter. Very interesting. More advertisement here, the art of telecommunications. What's this doing? Introducing 2 new state-of-the-art modems. Okay, so these are modems for the Amiga. So I'm assuming, can you hook it? No, it doesn't look like you can hook it up to the 500, but yeah, it's all for the 2000s, 2500 and the 3000 models. Never owned a modem for the Amiga. A friend of mine did bring around a modem for the Commodore 64 years ago, but you couldn't really, I think all we could do was dial into certain BBS websites. Obviously the internet really didn't exist back then, not for us mere mortal computer people. Anyhow, moving on. Okay, we got a review. What do we got a review of here? Okay, so it must be just I think it's a review of a multitude of programs. Okay, more advertisement. Fast Card Plus, Amiga Action Replay. So back in the day, if you wanted to relive some of your cool moves and that, you had to get one of these Action Replay cards. Okay, moving on. There's a creative software for creative minds, music software. Okay, so this is advertising. I think this is a slider, so you can slide between pictures for video, I think. Yeah, so it's a you can go from one scene to another, which we all do nowadays in software, where back then you had to have a special fader box. A bit like how musicians fade, or DJs fade from one song to another. This faded from one picture to the other, which things like yeah, you can get free software that does that now, especially if you're broadcasting live YouTube videos and stuff like that. You can scan between like a video and another video. It's probably over explaining it there a bit. Okay, moving on. Okay, probably the main reason I picked up this magazine, Walt Disney Meets the Amiga. So yeah, I guess this is a software that came with, shows you how to animate Disney programs on your Amiga. I do have a animation software I picked up, but it's for Hanna-Barbera, and I actually bought it for this whole reason, to learn how to do animation, which I kind of did, but yeah, it not to the level that I could make a living out of, that's for sure. So just more, lot of writing, yeah, it looks pretty interesting. Okay, so that's the end of that article. I say now they're advertising external floppy drives for the Amiga. I did have one of these hard drives for my Amiga, for the Amiga 500. Never really saw those much. I'm sure they were around, maybe I just didn't pay attention to them, but yeah, I didn't see that solid hard drive. There were always these little thin ones. Okay. Motion in the mind's eye. Mastering the subtitles of the animation process itself is the real key to becoming a good Amiga animator, as this three-pronged tutorial will prove. Wow. Something by Brian Williams. Maybe that's something. I don't know if I'll go through all that at the moment. Okay, just telling you all about how to animate. So moving on. That's not all, folks. Where Bugs said that's all, folks, at the end of the cartoon world, that was it. Not so much for the own newly created Amiga animation. Okay, so here, what's this? Okay, this is a network card for the Amiga. So obviously you can get that for the Amiga 500, which they've got it plugged in here. But also there's an internal card for the Amiga 2000 and upwards, I'd say. Even the Amiga 2000. Yeah, never had enough. Even with friends, I don't think we ever thought about hooking two Amigas up. Networking wasn't really something we looked at back then. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. Okay. So what do we got here? So a bit of a flyer for some Amiga tapes. That would be pretty cool. Wouldn't mind getting hold of those. That would be interesting to watch and see what that's all about. Educational video for your Amiga computer. Check out what's available from the Amiga World Video Library. I wonder if you can get that online now. I'll have to look out for that one. Novice to expert in no lapse time with the Amiga World videos. Okay, so this is so it's amazing now that you have one software can do pretty much all this stuff, like Sony Vegas, Premiere. Back in those days you would have to load up one, do your graphics, then shut down, reboot up in another software, and somehow bring it all back together. So that's quite interesting. Okay, so now there's an advertisement here for the actual Disney animation studio. This would be very interesting to get hold of and have a play with. I haven't animated on the Amiga for a very long time, so my skills are probably pretty rusty, but this looks fairly advanced, so probably, I'd love to get hold of that. I might keep an eye out for that and just see if I can find it and try it, and might make a video and see what it's like. Now you can have total control of classic animation features. Okay, and more advertisements. So more cards for memory engineering, the art of memory engineering. Yeah, it's hard to believe now that memory is just a little card, like 8 gigs, 16 gigs on a quarter of what these boards are. It's amazing. Alright, so now we're getting some advertisement for games. Heart of the Dragon. Don't think I've seen this one. Looks interesting though. First game to combine pulse-pounding joystick action with a truly complete adventure story. 3D graphics. Ooh. Actually, I'm surprised I never came across that one. That looks quite good. Another one to keep an eye out for. Heart of the Dragon. This game looks familiar. I remember seeing this on shelves. Never owned it. I suppose it's a bit like Risk or an RPG. I guess you play Genghis Khan and you have to take over the Europe and Asia Minor and Asia and wherever else, China. It's one of those games you used to spend a lot of time building and moving along. Civilization was the game that I used to play a lot of. That was kind of similar to that. Interesting. So more games over here. The Killing Game Show I had. I don't remember playing it, but I'm sure I had a copy of it somewhere. These two, yeah, I don't remember these, so I don't think I had them. More advertisements. Oh, this one folds out. That's pretty cool. Wow, all the things you could buy for the Amiga. Yeah, very interesting. What's the advertisement? What's this for? Here's another tip. Subscribe. So there's a subscribe flyer here. Okay. A free Amiga 3000 and a NecTech video toaster. Plus 6 more Super Amiga prizes. Oh, okay, so this is a competition. So how do I win? Probably a bit late to enter. Send us your best Amiga animation for inclusion in the Amiga World Animation Video Volume 2. Even if you don't win, we'll give you $50 and a free copy of the video if we use it as part of the tape. That'd be interesting to get hold of. Don't know how many copies of that video is still circulating. Somebody might have a copy somewhere, maybe even it's been uploaded, I don't know. Might have to have a look for it. Okay, pointers. Introducing mass storage solutions from Corway International. Corwin? Oh wow, look at that. How much can you store? 1.2 gigabytes. Wow. Hang on. Is available in capacities ranging from 20 megabytes to 1.2 gigabytes. Wow. And 1.2 gigabytes is nothing today. It's amazing. That would have been so much storage. I'm sure there would have been somebody out there that said no one in their right mind would need 1.2 gigabytes. I remember when I got my must have been 500 megabyte hard drive back in the early 90s for my first IBM PC, and I said to a friend, there's no way in the world I'll ever fill that. The amount of data that I have these days, it's unbelievable. I have terabytes of data that I keep from the videos and stuff, and yeah, just to think 1.2 gigabytes would have been unimaginable to fill. Man, and the amount of space. Like, I have a NAS system that's a quarter of that that size, and it's like, I think I've got 12 terabytes in it or something like that. Yeah, it's amazing. What's this game? Okay, here's the article on 688 Attack Sub, and I'm sure that's been ported to a number of different software over the years. There's probably even a re-release on Steam. Desktop surfing. So what's this about? This is a basketball game from Konami. I love the Konami software boxes. They're always nice. Yeah, I don't think I had Double Dribble. Yeah, I had one basketball game, but I used to always get flogged by friends. You know, they seem to be able to work out the joystick moves and that all better than I did. What are we talking about here? We're talking about click and point games here. I must have missed something. So there's an article on Future Wars. Let's go back. Alright. Oh, okay. Yeah. So after the 688, then there's The Legend of William Tell. Never played that. Actually, I'm surprised I've never come across that. Looks interesting. A game on William Tell. Then Future Wars, which I used to have an original copy of before I got rid of my first Amiga. Space Rogue. It's a space fighting simulator. Don't think I had that. Yeah, I don't think I had Space Rogue. I'm quite intrigued with this William Tell now. Okay, now we're into Leisure Suit Larry, which I I think 2 is really my favourite of the Legislate Larrys. 3 is okay, but I think 2 is my favourite, and it's probably more because I've got fond memories of it. 1 is always memorable because whenever you first time play that, you'll never forget that. But I think Legislate Larry 2 was the one that I had the most fun with. Legislate Larry 3, I think it was just me and my mate just wanted to get it finished. Rings of Medusa. I don't think I've played that one either. More advertisement. I used to love spending hours going through these, looking up things that I wished I had and could never afford, even though the prices seem very reasonable now. Back then, couldn't afford half this stuff, especially as a 12, 13-year-old. Open any drawer and discover something extraordinary. Tool chest. So there must be some, I'm not sure what that's about. Oh, okay, so you can open any drawer and discover something extraordinary. A top quality dual disc software collection. Oh. So my payment of $14.95. So I'm not sure. Each new issue. Okay, so it's like another magazine or a disc magazine. That's interesting. Advertising for World of Amiga in Chicago. Yeah. There's advertising. What's this game? The incredible Navy warfare simulation introduces features such as real-time solid 3D graphics, realistic navigation radar animation, authentic digitized sound of missile launch. Wow. Operation. That sounds pretty cool. What is an ad for Amiga programmers wanted? Wow, so any budding Amiga programmers out there that wish to travel to 1990 and 80 Elm Street, hopefully not to meet Freddy Krueger, you can apply for a programming position at Amiga World. Okay, so that's for the Amiga World tool chest that we saw the advertisement for a little while ago. Okay, more ads, floppy drives, more reviews on the animation software. Use quick quarterback to save your data. Use quarterback tools to save your eyes. Beep. We won't say that. Interesting way. I don't know if you could get away with that these days. Probably could. Oh, here's Hero Quest. Another game I picked up recently on loose on CD for the IBM DOS. So I've never played Hero Quest, so that's interesting. Oh, there's a book on the Larry story. This book has over 150 pages of hints, tips, and solutions for the best-selling Legislate Larry series. Learn the Larry language and rank up more points. Well, that would have been cool to get back in the day when I used to play those all the time. Accolade, Test Drive, used to love those games. Okay. More software, lots of sales. Commodore monitor, wouldn't mind getting hold of again. Miss seeing the old Amiga on the shelves. They should do an Amiga Mini. That's what we need now. They did the Commodore 64. They need the Amiga Mini now. Printer. I actually still have that printer. It's down at my mother's place. Actually, it's her partner borrowed it, and he told me the other day he still got it. I thought I had no idea where it had disappeared to, but apparently he said he still has it packed away somewhere down there. So one day maybe I'll get hold of it and demonstrate a very noisy dot matrix for those who have not experienced the wonderful world of dot matrix printers. So the prices, it's unbelievable. Like a toner printer here is $1,639. And that's dot matrix. Like, you would not in a million years pay that price for a dot matrix printer. but back then that was state of the art. Reviews, public domain. I used to love public domain. If you were an Amiga user and you didn't, one of the big things you had in your collection was public domain software. It was usually free. You usually just paid for a disc. So like here, you can. So they're selling here 100 blank discs for $77, which was pretty good for the back then. And yeah, you could, get all this public domain software. It was pretty cool. Usually somebody would have like a deal like you actually technically only buying the blank disc, and then they'd fill it up with whatever public domain software you're interested in. What's new? Don't forget the really important back to school items. Okay, so this is software for education. I don't ever remember seeing, in Australia, I don't remember ever seeing an Amiga in any of the schools. We all had, pretty much we had Apples. I don't even remember, I think originally when I went to school, we had an Australian computer system called the Micro B, which was an Australian built and run. It had its own operating system that was designed in Australia. But by the time I moved into high school, we then had Apple Macs. Apple came in and gave a heap of free computers to government schools, and we pretty much used Macs right up to I left high school. At home personally was the Commodore 64, then the Tandy Coco 3, then the Commodore 64, and eventually the Amiga 500. But it wasn't until I went on to do electrical engineering that I moved into the IBM world. I was really not into the IBMs. They seemed very complicated when I was a kid, but eventually I learned they weren't as complicated as I thought they were. What we got here? Last Licks. What's this cartoon saying here? He used to be an awesome pirate until a large corporation broke into his system and deleted all his book reports. Yeah, Amiga. If you owned an Amiga or a Commodore 64, you're pretty much sure you had more pirated software than legit. So, and that's the crayons on the back. Why not? A magazine on graphic arts, and actually they're advertising this DigiPaint, which is pretty cool. Well, that's a look at Amiga World September issue of 1990. Well, thanks for coming in. Don't forget to share, like, and if you're new to the program, to subscribe. And hit the notification bell because it lets you know when I upload a new video every Friday. So if you like this, in the comments down below, let me know if you'd like to see more. I did pick up 3 other Amiga World magazines, or if you want me to maybe review or look at some other magazines, computer magazines, if I've come across them, just leave a comment down below. And if you used to read this magazine back in the day, let us know what you got out of it, and if you use the Amiga for animation or video capture, I'd like to hear all about it. So that's it for me, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.